from Elite 8.
Definitely. Then what do you think we should expect from the side of Infamous as well before we just jump into draft?
I guess it's just, again, pretty solid performance. Unless Elite 8 focuses on maybe Spaghetti to rattle him a little bit. I think Elite 8 should have a pretty good game in this one.
Yep. As you say that, we will just jump in to draft at this point in time. So coming into this draft, we know that Infamous, they are very, very versatile in terms of team comms, and I think this is the first time for this week, or for this split at least, they are going up against that of Elite 8. For our first ban coming up from Elite 8, we do see that Idris, and of course coming up from the side of Infamous, the very usual standard Grace ban. Samuel will be picked out first for the side of Elite 8. It's quite rare to see Samuel being picked up first for the side of Elite 8 because a lot of times we do see them prioritizing on that Baptiste, like you said earlier on. However, on the side of Infamous, in response to that, they are going to pick out the other healer on the fold, or rather the other meta healer on the fold, and that would be Lyra. In which, for at this point in time, Infamous, they can ban out a lot of heroes, and we are still playing on the 2.6, so they might just go for that Sky ban. However, it's quite unlikely because the jungler of the side of Elite 8 has been picked out. They are going to go for that Glaive ban just for, just to remove the disruptions that Glaive can bring to the table.
Yeah, so I kind of like Elite 8's first ban here because it's the Idris, and one of the, I guess, signature heroes that you can call for Infamous is Spaghetti's Idris, so that I think they just want to put that out of the table because they respect it a bit. Right now, maybe the Samuel pick for me is just that he's a pretty good duelist overall. Once you have that, again, the combo with his Drifting Dark, he's just able to kite around the team fight and then be able to sustain up. So maybe they're just trying to keep that option open for them immediately and then try to follow up with something that can go with that. I'm not sure which hero would be good, but anything that's up in your face I think would be nice.
Well, yeah, up in your face indeed. And the side of Infamous, they are going to settle for that Fox, which we know in 2.6 is still relatively strong as compared to the other laners because of the pre-nerf Poison Shift, Tension Bow, and even that of Breaking Point. So, like you said, and I must agree with you as well, it's that, the side of Elite 8, they will settle for that Baron and Baptiste team com coming out. And like I said, they do favor and they really like the Batistas, for the side of Elite 8. For the side of Infamous, I don't think they should really just go for the dive. They can have another mage like that of, say, Scarf. Scarf does very well, but Spaghetti as well. He is known for his Celeste, so Celeste might be the pickup at this point in time. If not, then the Scarf. I mean, Mages does very well against that of Elite 8. We are going to see that Celeste being picked up for the side of Infamous. So based on comms alone, we do see both teams, they are on heroes that they are very, very comfortable with. What do you think, Arsurai? Just based on comms alone and the draft alone, who do you think you'll put your money on?
I really like always such a lesson that our competition.
Okay, so as before we jump into game itself, I will just quickly run out and just talk about the pros and cons coming out from both teams. So on the side of Infamous, they are on the red side at this point in time, or they are on the B side, and they have got a sustain for the early game, and on top of that, they've got a box with that Poison Shift as well. So Poison Shift is a much cheaper item as compared, item pickup as compared to Baron's Sorrow Blade into Tension Bow. So in the early game, the side of Infamous would definitely have got it. And as Asura, you said it as well, that the side of Infamous really like and enjoy their early game pressure as well, since they are so, objective focused at the end of the day. But we did see Elite 8 coming online yesterday and bring out and showing the viewers and of course the casters as well that they can be equally as objective focused at the end of the day. And thus they do pick up that Samuel that can siege very early on, and as you said, with that Drifting Dark and the empowered Melissus and Verdict, and also with that Baron in the late game, they are just very strong. And as for that Baptiste, that Ordain can just keep blocks within a situated area for, you know, Baron to jump in. If not, then Baron to jump in. If not, then for Samuel to jump in as well. So, like, my question still stands after running through the pros and cons of both teams. Azurai, which team do you think will be up on top, or which team would you put your money on?
Putting my money on, I don't know if you heard me a while ago, but I was talking about how I really like the comp of Infamous, just because again, it feels like it's gonna be kind of difficult for Elite 8 to reach a Celeste and a Lyra, just because there's so much range and safety from the bulwark and the passageway. But the thing is, I think there's a really nice combo here for Elite 8. You have that Ordain into, I guess, the Oblivion, which is I think a really good pick-off tool then tool as well for Elite 8. But I'm going for Infamous.
If you're going to go for Infamous, then I'll just put my money on Elite 8 as well. Just a little, you know, cheeky banter between two casters. I mean, you have a valid points, but at the end of it all, we do see the Baptiste on Official Hind. Yeah. And Anime saved me on that Samuel, so which means we will be seeing a Roam Samuel coming out. Yet again, the first Roam Samuel, if I'm not wrong, was pulled out by Infamous, and we were at a point in time, I think we did see Infamous having that comp of a Samuel with that Taka, and then we were trying to figure out whether or not Taka will be that Roam or Samuel will be that Roam. But in this case, we are going to see yet again Samuel roaming it, and I guess he has that poke, he has that pushing ability as a roamer, and he has got a sustain as well, unlike any other heroes in the foe. So I guess Anime Save Me really want, or rather the side of Elite 8 really do know how to...
Anime Save Me though, he's gonna be a bit too over-aggressive there, but Hun Jaegers will help him out. Although SNK, Imperial Sigil, Uni cannot follow up. That was very close from Anime Save Me.
That was very, very close indeed. Anime Save Me just taken down very low, very early. And I guess that is one thing that Samuel has that the other roamers don't have. It's that very early game damage, and especially even as a roamer without, you know, just picking up crystal items, your Malices and Verdicts in your Drifting Dark would do a lot of damage. So I guess it's gonna help, you know, cruise Hun Jaeger through his laning phase. But, you know, to fully understand the core, honestly, coming up from the side of Elite 8, I guess they've got, you know, several CCs, hard CCs as well. Firstly will be Fearsome Shade coming out from Baptiste, and of course, on top of that, the Oblivion that Samuel will get, and a team-wide sleep that he can inflict on when he reaches level 6. So I guess that is one CC that the other roamers do not have. I mean, to make you immobile or unable to use any abilities because you're asleep is a very, very big thing that, you know, is going for the side of Elite 8. We might see some fight happening in lane.
And here we go. Will Spaghetti connect a stun on that card collapse? I think that's going to be enough. He just drops the Heliogenesis in front of the turret. So Elite 8 will live to fight for another day. And you can see here from the bottom side, it's going to be Spaghetti versus Official Hind, and Official Hind respecting this Celeste with the help of SNK. And immediately right off the bat, Infamous goes in with an aggressive rotation in the jungle to catch off Official Hind, but no first blood just yet.
Well, no first blood just yet, indeed. And we do see the Baptiste, he is very strong. He's a very strong early game hero, especially when he's empowered. So as long as Elite 8 can match up with, you know, and synergize really, really well with that Samuel when he gets his Drifting Dark, in which he just got it, and Baptiste, they can just hold someone on the spot, especially with that Ordain and Malice and Verdict for a very long time as well. So it is just down to how Elite 8 will execute the team comp, although I would have preferred to see a Baptiste roam. That way it'll make the entirety of Elite 8 seem more like a balanced comp overall. But I guess Captain Samuel has got its users as well, although very niche at the end of the day, because you are really just relying on that sleep of yours. Official Hind may be going into Spaghetti just for a quick duel in that early game, but they are just gonna back off.
All right, just a question, I guess. Who do you think is a better duelist overall in the early game? Is it gonna be the Batiste or the Samuel? Because maybe that's the reason why Elite Eight went for the Roam Samuel, because he's a bit more durable or easier to fight with early on. Because again, you do have that slot A and B skill set.
Well, personally, they are beginning their siege at this point in time.
Oh, okay. So Official Hind might be a bit too greedy there. SNK, one more shot. That's gonna be close. They're chasing him down. There's a Sonic Zoom from Uni. One more. But immediately E8 go for the punish. And Anime Save Me survives, or rather Official Hind survives, as his teammates go in for the punish. Wow.
And we do see Elite 8 yet again, putting out that early game pressure in that of lane and picking up the first turret just 4 minutes 30 in. Very good play coming out from the side of Elite 8, and as a lot of players would say, jabated coming out for Infamous, because they really wanted the First Blood. First Blood is 300 gold for the viewers, or for anyone out there that do not know. So I guess it is quite precious, a sacred thing to not give away or even just take from your opponents in the early game. And because 300, that is just one first, it's just tier 1 item very early on. And on top of that as well, with that bait, Elite 8 managed to get 1 turret out of 2 kills. So it's looking very, very good for the side of Elite 8 at this point in time, just 5 minutes in, and they are sitting at a very comfortable, close to 2k gold lead. And as with your question, with regards to your question, you asked whether or not it's because they saw that, or saw the team comp because he might caught out.
But hold off, we're gonna get, like you said, the catch off onto Anime Save Me. He will survive, does have the Drifting Dark. He'll be able to at least sustain himself up, and look at Spaghetti getting punished. Uni's right here, into the side. He will get taken out as well. And E8, they actually have a pretty good stable weight comp, and they win that fight with only losing Hun Jaegers.
Yep, only losing Han Jaegers. And one more thing as well, like with regards to your question, honestly, the only reason they put, I personally think that Samuel in that Roam position is not because he's more robust, or the fact that Official Hind can duel better against a Celeste if he's on that Batiste, but it is just down to the power spikes and how much damage, and how well they can scale into that of late game. As you can see, Anime Save Me on that Samuel is able to put out so much early game pressure in that of lane, and on top of that, with that Batiste as well, it is definitely win-win coming out from the side, or rather for the side of Elite 8, in which we did see they managed to push 1 turret, and a lot of duels now, and a lot of fights, team fights at this point in time, just going in their favor because the amount of damage coming out from their side. So at the end of it all, I guess it is quite clever to put this Samuel in that Roam position, and then just allowing Official Hind to just pick up that Batiste at the end of the day, because Batiste, when empowered, like I said, with just a few crystal items, you can put out a lot of damage. And Anime Save Me doesn't quite need, especially for a Samuel, in the early game, to have any much items to put out damage, especially if you're in your Drifting Dark constantly.
So now it's gonna be the Poke game, will be the name of the game here for Infamous, as looky here. Oh my goodness, Spaghetti getting the kills. Get it? Spaghetti getting all of the kills. And he's just gonna be bombarding the Heliogenesis onto Anime Save Me as his teammates break down the turrets. And one team fight actually turned the tide of battle just a smidgen into the hands of Infamous.
Yep, but we do see as well, although Anime Save Me really, really good on that Samuel for that early game, but at the end, when it comes late game, or at least for now, we do see that, Anime Save Me do not quite have that utility going into team fights. The only thing he can really do is just use the Drifting Dark and hopefully be able to zone his enemies out, whereas Spaghetti, now sitting at level 9, has got that artillery potential coming out from that Heliogenesis, as E8 is looking for another fight. Oblivion is dropped.
And here we go, Elite 8 will be forcing the fight out, as it looks like Infamous will be trying to go once again for the range game. Look at the damage onto Anime Save Me. He has to back away. He's got to respect Spaghetti right now. Although they did have a good amount of time to put damage on the second turret, so Elite 8 will be exiting with I guess a pretty good advantage against Infamous.
Yep, and one more thing is as well is that, you know, the side of Elite 8 do not have a lot of lockdowns, whereas for the side of Infamous, we have that core collapse from that of Celeste, and on top of that, a very short silence, no doubt a very short silence, but still silence nonetheless, coming out from Wait For It on Vox as well. So a lot of hard CCs coming out, but on the side of Elite 8, there is not much of a, you know, a hard lockdown. There is the Oblivion, sure, there is a Fearsome Shade, but, you know, Fearsome Shade moves your enemies away from you, whereas, you know, the side of
oh, I'm slapping that one for now, man, because it looks like we're gonna be seeing some blood splatter, as it looks like Elite 8 will be forcing once again another fight. They pay for it with the life of Hun Jaegers, followed up by Official Hein. Spaghetti puts out a huge Solar Storm, and he will be following up as well onto Anime Save Me, using that passage as a gap closer, and that's going to be an ace, as it looks like Infamous will be also transitioning into the second turret. So yes, you were saying.
Yep, as I was saying, the side of Elite 8, as we can see now, and I was saying earlier on, they just do not have the hard lockdown like that of Infamous with the core collapse and even the silence coming out. Granted, they have got a Fearsome Shade coming out from Batiste, a very good CC fair itself, because it makes you silence firstly and you cannot use the basic attack whatsoever. But, you know, even then, the problem with the Fearsome Shade is that it pushes your enemies away from you, whereas, you know, on the side of Elite 8, they do not have much of a chase at the end of the day. So if you're going to push the enemies away from you, then you have to re-engage again. And, you know, Fearsome Shade in itself, it can be used defensively or aggressively depending on what position you are in, but looks like another fight might be breaking out when Elite 8 just coming in.
And here we go, 3v3. They just dip in and immediately dip out from the fight. Looks like Elite 8 are ready to go for it because they didn't know where the other members of Infamous were. It's gonna be the Scout Trap. Sees Anime Save Me is right there near the gold mine, and Infamous are looking to actually go for a flank here, or maybe get that objective themselves. Not yet really sure. And yeah, actually, your input on that, I was actually thinking, like, because Infamous have the Celeste, it kind of makes it bad if the Fearsome Shade pushes him out of the range of E8. That just means that, you know, the Celeste will be able to outrange them even more. Do you think that's like a thing here that kind of like makes it bad to use a Fearsome Shade against Infamous's comp?
Yeah, and on top of that as well, like, I agree with you, but on top of that as well, it's that if you do push the team of Infamous away from you, then Baron has to jeopardize his very safe position behind that of Anime Save Me to just jump in, and I'll just hold that thought when a lot of damage is exchanged, but no one really wants to. Okay, I'll just, you know, go ahead.
Here we go. Official Hein with the backstab plays. There's going to be a huge Solar Storm, but Hun Jaegers will survive. Can he actually? No, never mind. That's going to be a double kill as Official Hein went for the flank, but he just got ganked, and Anime Save Me will be the only one left standing here as Infamous are going to be going for the choke turret. Anime Save Me, can he do it? I don't think he will. There's another passageway, and he actually rides it into the embracing hands of Spaghetti, and you know what happens? Spaghetti will get a kill. Here comes Official Hein and Hun Jaegers, but the battle is done for now.
It is done indeed, and you know, they managed to take the anchor turret just 12 minutes in, playing that. Elite 8, they are playing the game of Infamous, being very objective focused, but at the end of the day, when the power spike of Samuel starts to lose out because you are on your roam, you no longer have that very early game spike that we were talking about earlier on, and that is what that makes the side of Elite 8's comp so much stronger. It's because of Samuel and his ability to surge siege in the early game without much items, and the ability to zone as well with those Malices and Verdicts. But once all the defenses start coming up on the side of Infamous, the side of Elite 8 will start, you know, finding a lot of trouble trying to peel or even just wear down the side of Infamous, in which we see a lot. And, you know, Infamous is just taking and making use and taking advantage at least of their opportunity and capitalizing on the flaws of the team comp coming out from the side of Elite 8. And this is what they're doing, and they're doing it very, very well. Just 12 minutes in, as we said, and as we saw, just the anchor turret down from the side of Elite 8, and they did move into the gold mine, putting them just 5k above that of Elite 8. They are looking very strong at this point in time, the side of Elite 8. Had they went for a Baptiste role, maybe, just maybe, the tide would change for the side of Elite 8. But at the end of the day, Celeste just scales so much better as compared to that of Samuel. And I think it would just go down pretty much the same. But at this point in time, because you have the Baptiste, you know, you're not going to use the Fearsome Shade as a CEC. They are just going in again, just looking for another team fight. We saw the damage Oblivion drops.
Clash ensues, and will they force the fight? Yes, they will. There's going to be the jump jets. The damage, though, is pretty good. Nice connection onto the Oblivion. SNK was actually slept right there. The 1-for-1 trade in terms of the kills, but Uni is on a Vox. You gotta respect this, guys. There's so much damage coming in from both of these players. He's going in with the Sonic Zoom. They're chasing down. If you have your jump tips, you will survive. If no, Hunt Jaegers goes down. And Infamous gets another ace. Can they actually finish this off? Official Hein will be responding in about 5 seconds, so it might just be the turrets get taken down, or this could be the game.
Well, I mean, it might just be one turret before they bugger off, and they do just move out. Or then does land on SNK.
Ooh, SNK drops down the bulwark. There's the Solar Storm. Will Uni actually go in for the bait into the brush? They're gonna play it safe. Put down a flare just to check, just to make sure that no shenanigans will be coming out from Infamous. But like you said, they only got one turret, so Elite 8, they still have that one defense before their vein is exposed.
Yep, one defense indeed, but Kraken at this point in time is coming onto the foes, and the side of Infamous wasting no time, immediately trying to secure that Kraken for themselves. I'm sure the side of Elite 8 do know. Pardon me.
Yes.
Bless are used.
And here we go, another clash will ensue. Official Hein super low, nice connection with that Fearsome Shade, pushes back Infamous. That Kraken is battering down behind them, so they gotta back away for the meantime. They don't want to make it into a awkward 4v3 situation. Hunt Jaegers was doing a whole lot of damage, but not enough to get the kills. Still though, Elite 8 have a way against this. SNK will be spotting them out. Elite 8 looking to actually get the Kraken, as they knew that maybe some of the members here of Infamous might have been going for that port back into the base. Did Uni show himself in the lane? I think he does. Spotted out, by the way, but here comes Elite 8. Sonic zooming out. They know they have so much vision. They have so much mindset on what Elite 8's rotation will be. And it seems that E8 are just going to go for a little bit of a breather here.
A little breather indeed. I mean, there is no chance for E8 to just come in, and if the side of Infamous really want to dedicate themselves into a team fight, which we might see at this point in time.
Oh, this is so sneaky. Do they have the vision? I don't know if they do. They're gonna put down the Heliogenesis, and they spot Official Hein. No more ultimate for you. No more usage of that Fearsome Shade. And you know what? It's fearsome. It is Infamous going in. 3 versus 1. Official Hein, can he do it? The answer to that will be no, and it's another ace. And it looks like Infamous will be going for the GG push. There's the passage just for the gap close once again, and they're gonna backdoor the heck out of this base.
Backdoor the heck out of this base, indeed. And it's quite interesting to see, because if I'm not wrong, and if memory do not fail me, the side of Infamous did pull out a similar comp with that Roam Samuel before, and they did very well. No doubt they had some stumbles along the way, but at the end of it, you know, at the end of the day, they did pull off that comp very well. Whereas from the side of Elite 8, they know, you know, where their strength lies, and what, you know, at which part of the game or which stage of the game they are very strong, and they did try to push their advantages in that early game, but the side of Infamous is just protecting their modesty, not allowing it to be outraged any further, protecting their further turrets very well. And once we saw Spaghetti getting onto that level 8, immediately turning the fight and turning the game around. So good game and well played, Infamous, and of course that of Elite 8. Elite 8 was so strong coming into this game, playing, you know, just playing the team comp, or rather playing the team style of that of Infamous, but Infamous just showing Elite 8 who is the real turret pushers, and it will be them.
Yeah, the bosses of the Halcyon Fold. But of course, this is a best of 3 series. We're still yet to see if Elite 8 have something a bit different in their pockets. You know, maybe a pocket strat that they're gonna put out right now, as they are on the verge of defeat against Infamous.
Verge of defeat, you say. I mean, they can fight it out into a game of 3 and then clinching the third game as well. But, you know, at this point in time, before we get into draft, I must say, Team Infamous, in the early game, and as you mentioned, it is almost as if, you know, E8 kind of had that game under control with that very good early game, securing one after another kill, that bait coming up from Anime Safe, from Official Hein as well on that Baptiste is going in, getting really low, going back to his friends, and then that allowed Elite 8 to pick up 2 kills, and with that turret, you would think that Elite 8 just looks so very strong, but then we at a point in time, we kind of just discounted the existence of that Celeste, but once Celeste came on, once Celeste hit that level 8, she was unstoppable. She was the main target, and she has to be the main target for the side of Elite 8. Else, hell will ensue, and that is what that happens. What's your input in that game? I'm sure, I mean, at the end of the day, the side of Elite 8 did play into the hands of Infamous.
Yeah, maybe Elite 8 could have used something else. Maybe put the Baptiste to or rather, I think they would have at least had a chance with Anime Save Me going in rather than the Samuel to maybe an Arden or a Finn, because that's I think one of the heroes that he uses. I mean, the Glaive was banned out because I think Infamous was. I think that's was a pick of his, but yeah. Before that, we're gonna start off the second draft, guys. So let's check it out.
Let's check it out, indeed. As we come into this draft, I hope Elite 8 will just kind of learn from their mistakes, and let's see if they will learn, and let's see if they will change. Because at a point in time, had Anime Save Me go on to that Baptiste, the game might just shift differently, maybe even into Elite 8's favor. We do see once again Infamous picking out that Grace and just taking her out of the entirety of the hero roster of Vainglory. And with that, I'm not surprised if the side of Elite 8 will just ban out that Baron, just not want to allow Baron to go through over to Infamous. If not, then based on their previous draft, they might just go for the Idris ban once again. If not, then Castro. We do see the Vox being banned out. What do you think so far?
This could be a first pick on... yeah, the Idris. Actually, I was about to say that because they left it open. I don't think Infamous are afraid for any Idris's counter right as of this moment. So... maybe this is the time for E8 to go for something that's gonna allow them to have some early game pressure while come mid game, late game, we're gonna have some pick off, and the Glaive is perfect for that, I think, with the afterburn.
Glaive is definitely the perfect candidate at this point in time for the side of Elite 8. Even if you do run the Glaive roam that we've been seeing a lot coming up from Southeast Asia, Glaive is just so strong, being able to pick up one hero after the other with that afterburn. And there's one thing as well going for the side of Elite 8, and is that if he does run that weapon or jungle Glaive, then he will definitely scale better in the early game, at least going up against Idris, because we do know that Idris is just so weak in that early game in terms of clear speed before he does unlock his divergent path or just picking up extra weapon power items. We do see a Celeste being banned out, and Celeste was really the performer in that previous game itself. Infamous will be banning out that Baptiste. Baptiste came out quite strongly on Official Hein, and I was expecting that in the ban of the first game. But the side of Infamous do realize that Baptiste may be a threat to their Idris's existence, and thus banning it out.
Yeah, I was thinking like, this might be if Infamous's time to go for a dive heavy comp, but they might think otherwise because E8 might just do the same. So I feel like they're just gonna go for something a bit more balanced here. E8, I mean, the Baron is open, and Hunjagers did do pretty well, but it's heavily countered by the Idris, so maybe something else. Okay, so it's gonna be the Lyra, and so maybe they're just going for durability right now against Infamous, who are hopefully looking for bursts rather than durability themselves.
Yep, so we might see coming up from the side of Elite 8. I'm not sure. It's a very rough guess. I mean, it is quite open at this point in time. They can go for the Castro, that CP Castro to be in the jungle, but if CP Castro is going to go up against the Glaive, he might face some problems. If not, then as for the Roma-wise, we might be seeing an Arden or Catherine. Catherine at this point in time quite strong, not picked out yet, and Catherine does very well going into a Lyra. And on top of that as well, Catherine can just stun out anybody that tries to get close or into that of Idris. And as for the jungler, like I said, they can settle for the Castro, they can go for another mage, which they are seeing that we've been seeing so much of coming out from the side of Infamous. They are going to settle for that Arden and the space that Arden creates. You know, honestly, I have this feeling, this very weird feeling that Infamous might pull out that Idris delivery comp. But then again, I'm not sure, because it is quite open at this point in time, the draft. A lot of heroes can be picked out for the side of Infamous, and on top of that, Infamous as well has quite a vast hero pool at the end of the day. So a mage at this point in time would be very, very good, but they are going to settle for that Crystal Black Feather just so to outpoke that of Glaive.
So it's going to be the last pick now for Elite 8. I mean, there's a lot of dives here and poke coming in from Infamous. They do have the Lyra though, but still I think maybe a Sky would be picked here just for the mobility of that Cerise Strike, but we'll just have to see for their last pick.
Well, I don't think Sky will be picked up, because Sky just does rather badly going up against an Idris, especially when an Idris can be into you and then just you poke the hell out of you. And really, as a Sky, you haven't got an answer to that of Idris, unless of course if you can outscale and just snowball yourself so much so that Idris cannot come close to you. But coming out from Elite 8, we are going to see that of Rhyme. Rarely picked hero, but very, very good against triple melee combos, which Elite 8 is bringing it out. So I'm quite glad Elite 8, which Infamous is bringing out, and I'm quite glad that Elite 8 would settle for that Rhyme, because it's quite rare to see it being picked out.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've only seen him played once, and that was during Split 1. Not really too much sure how his playstyle pans out, but I'm curious to see. Like you said, it's gonna be a good counter for a 3 melee hero comp. So I'm just excited to see what happens.
Yep, I mean, Rhyme has got that poke, has got a fortified health, a lot of sustain coming up from the side of Elite 8, especially with that Glaive, and of course on top of that, that Lara as well. So I'm pretty sure that the side of Elite 8 will be placing that Glaive into lane going up against Idris. Very good, placement of their heroes, because Glaive just does so well against Idris, especially if you have that Lara to just add on the harassment that you can put out onto the Idris. And on top of that, Imperial Sigil as well, that we oftenly talk about, and we say it so many times already, the amount of sustain that Imperial Sigil helps, especially since the side of Infamous do not have any comms that can say remove, or rather would want to build Poison Shift as the first item to quickly counter that of Lyra. I mean, we've seen a couple of Poison Shift very early pickup on that of Idris, don't get me wrong, not a bad option, but a lot of Idrises in Southeast Asia would rather just complete the Divergent path first, whether or not they are going to pick out that Sorrow Blade as first item. If not, then just get to double Heavy Steel and 6 in. So either that, or this Idris might just want to go for that, Poison Shift. But Azrai, before we jump into the fold, I mean, we are on our way in, but before we do jump in, which team are you going for at this point in time?
Right now, looking at how that third pick Rhyme might be, like you said, a good counter, it feels like, Infamous, they wanted a comp that is, all right, we'll put you inside an arena and let's see who just duels better. And then for E8, okay, we'll answer that with a Rhyme. So I feel like E8 have an edge here. So I might just go for E8's comp, just looking at the comps themselves.
Well, definitely. I may want to agree with you this time. Elite 8 just seems so much stronger, especially the pickup coming out from Glaive as well. And on top of that, that Rhyme pickup for the side of Elite 8 is just so strong going into the late game, especially after a few defensive items. And on top of that, you have got a fortified health, which means it requires double the damage to just take you down very, very low. So, you know, honestly, the side of Elite 8, they look like they have got a much stronger team comp. But really, honestly, if you think about it, it's just down to execution. Whether or not they can just remove the Rhyme very quickly into the fight. If not, then remove HunJaeger very quickly into the fight. So at the end of the day, and one more thing as well, the side of Infamous, they are going a rather squishy comp. They have got no very good frontliners, and Rhyme itself, you know, he has to be in the front lines as well. So like you said, it is just down to who can duel better and who can out-sustain better. And we do see Official Hein picking up the first blood of their Black Feather.
So E8 are the ones to start off with the pretty early rotation. I actually didn't even see that. I was heavily looking at the lane as I thought that Spaghetti and SNK would have been the first recipient of aggression here from E8. I was wrong. Uni was caught a little bit there by E8. Just a little bit of a question here. Oh wait, rather before that, there's gonna be a little bit of a tussle in the lane, but I don't think it's gonna be kills. The Lyra is gonna keep this Glaive alive. Well, and Idris, I think is enough, or he does have that Vanguard coming in from SNK, so he should be relatively safe in the lane. So again, it's a little bit of a question here. Who has a faster clear of the jungle, in your opinion? Is it Uni on the Black Feather or Official Hein on the Rhyme?
Very good question. Very tricky question as well. I must say Rhyme, because he has got that burst in that of the early game. And
oh, but before that, Official Hein will be going 2v1 situation here. Mono e mono, but Uni pokes out the Anime Save Me, but he will get caught. Oh, he does have the dash, but can he get away? He's healing back up. Anime Save Me though, and well, looky here, Uni was actually able to get that 1v1 situation. Official Hein leaving the Lyra to dry out. And, well, he's going to go back to the drawing board as she respawns back in the base.
Yep, she does go back to the drawing board. And there's one thing that, you know, I'm quite curious about as to why Rhyme did not just go in and finish up that Black Feather. Probably because Official Hein thought that, you know, Anime Save Me has got it under control. But, you know, once again, a flank maybe coming in for the side of Infamous.
And a flank indeed happens. Although Infamous will be respecting Official Hein here, as he is that grumpy old man who's saying, "Get off my lawn!" And E8 will be keeping their jungle for the meantime. Infamous respecting, and HunJaeger's just gonna be happy that nobody is bullying him out in the lane for the meantime, and gonna be farming a couple of CS.
Yep, there is one thing that Rhyme says that's really, really funny. Like, I think it's something like, slow down, I'm not 80 anymore. Something along those lines. It's really, really funny. Whenever I play Rhyme, I mean, I enjoy the mechanics of Rhyme. I enjoy playing Rhyme. And whenever I hear that, I just chuckle. And anyways, we do see a rather even gameplay. Not much of aggression coming out from both teams. Oh, I'm not 81 anymore. There you go. Thank you, Minimizer. Okay, so there are not much aggression coming out from both teams. Those aggressions that we saw in the early game, pre-4 minutes, generally it's because either Official Hein, if not, then Uni is just caught out of position and thus able to just give the kill away to the opposing team. But HunJaeger, and we are quite seeing a different gameplay coming out from the side of Elite 8 as well. They are not putting a lot of pressure in lane, but as I'm saying that, all three members of each team are in lane.
Man, this is the battle of the melees, except for Anime Save Me, who is of course a ranged Lyra. But aside from that, it's all just bashing, smashing in the lane, in the jungle. Official Hein throws out a skill, hopefully to connect, but that's not going to be the case. Do they have any heroes who are level 6? Official Hein does have his ultimate backup. Valkyrie can be used here for a team fight, and they got to be careful because it has a lot of slow that has, if you're in the middle of it, will get stunned, so they got to respect that one. But SNK, so it's a battle of the captains. Imperial Sigil, and it looks like Anime Save Me will be the winner of that duel. And on the opposite side of the spectrum, it's going to be a 2v2 between the cores, Spaghetti and Uni, as HunJaeger's and Official Hein will just back away.
Yep. They might, or rather the side of Infamous might come into or go into a very hard time into this Rhyme. If this Rhyme just opts for that very sustaining build that I've seen very often in ranked plays, especially on a Rhyme, they will go for that Broken Myth into the Eve of Harvest and then tank up afterwards. We might even see the Wall Threads being picked up on that Rhyme, only because of Rhyme in itself. He has got a lot of burst damage with that Winter Spires, and of course he has got those CCs in terms of that slow, in terms of the root when he does use them. And you know, that is one thing that we must take note as well. If Official Hein do go for that very tanky build where he is just going to be in your face, you know, just put out all those stacks with that, you know, Winter Spires, build out all those stacks with the Winter Spires, and on top of that, just root for Han Jaeger, and Han Jaeger will just be that very squishy carry, then, you know, the side of Infamous might be in for a very tough time. But while saying that, we must also remember that Han Jaeger must be, you know, in the middle of the fight, must be in there, be part of the fight as well. Forefront, in the forefront of the fight. So honestly, in this scenario, I don't think Official Hein should go that route. But if he does, then Official Hein would be a monster to take down because of how tanky he is.
So Official Hein will not be joining the initiations of this battle, as we see Infamous trying to get a catch off here. There is SNK, doesn't have the gauntlet just yet. He's shy of his level 6 for the meantime, and Infamous won't be pushing the fight for that one. And now we are just seeing, I feel like this is like the calm before the storm. Once these people or these guys and girl with Lyra get their ultimates, we're gonna be seeing all hell break loose.
Oh, did you just assume the gender of Lyra? But I'll just hold that thought. The Bright Bulwark is used to just, you know, keep the side of Infamous away from them. And, you know, we did see both teams just really refuse and very hesitant on their engages, although while saying that, E8 is going in for the turret of Infamous.
Wow, that's some huge damage onto the turret indeed. Can see Idris into the sidelines. Spaghetti doesn't want to go aggressive here. I think he wants to go to let Uni or SNK go for it. Winter Spire will come out from the Rhyme. It won't deal too much damage. Look at that on point from Uni, chipping down 2 members of E8. Official Hein trying to be a little bit of a range mage here as he is throwing out his slot or his ace skill a little bit, maybe to deal good amount of damage onto Infamous, but Infamous has been pretty good in going with the left and right dancing maneuvers just to I guess dodge the damage. SNK is right here. He will spot out Han Jaegers and Anime Save Me, and Spaghetti, can he get away? He still has his Shimmer Strike, can ride onto the back of SNK, and SNK will be using the Gauntlet for the safety. And here comes Uni, but 2 ultimates just for an exit, and I don't think Infamous wants to go for this fight.
Yep, I don't think Infamous would want to as well. Minute Candy is popped. Lyra do go in.
But I could be wrong. They're going in aggressive, and they're going aggressive under turret right here. E8, they're taking quite a bit of damage. Han Jaegers, look at his HP. It's going down really quickly. And Anime Save Me. Uni's chasing him down. The shield should go down from the Vanguard, but still, he's going to wrap around. That's just a Lyra, and the Black Feather is going to be the winner of the day. And it's going to be an ace for just 1 death onto Infamous. That was interesting from E8.
That was indeed, because honestly, Rhyme at this point in time, he really needs the Eve of Harvest to sustain in the midst of fight. Whereas we do see a lot of CP, a lot of raw CP damage coming out from the side of Infamous as well, especially Uni with that Shatterglass building towards a Broken Myth, I'm sure, just to complete that build. And on top of that, the on point just outranges that of Winter Spires. So, you know, coming into the fight, and one more thing as well, Uni can just be... Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's fine, but it looks like this is not fine. Spaghetti getting caught out, and Elite 8. Wow, I did not imagine them to get a catch-off right there, and they're going to get the turret as well. So they immediately offset whatever Infamous got in terms of an advantage. So, yeah, as you were saying, I think it was something about Uni's Black Feather.
Yeah, I mean, Uni's Black Feathers on point do outrange that of Winter Spire at the end of the day. And we do see, although, Uni might be caught out right now.
My goodness, the chase is on. Another on point. Good poke right there. But E8, they're going to be happy. Smile on their faces. Just back off. As it looks like SNK, his silver lining, his constellation prize is just going to be taking down the scout traps. But hold that thought. Look at this. They're really going to initiate the fight here against E8. E8, are they ready for this one? They do have their ultimates as well as Infamous, there's going to be usage of the Afterburn, and look at that, the Blade Song just shipping them down. Spin to win from this Glaive. He takes him out. There's going to be a little bit of the fancy footwork there from Spaghetti, but it's not looking good at all. Another Afterburn from Hanjaegers pushes back, well, Uni to a safer distance, but Infamous forcing out a fight here, and E8 capitalizing.
Well, that is one thing about Rhyme. We do see Rhyme having the Eve of Harvest now, which means he has got a lot of sustain. And as I was about to say, Rhyme has to go in up front into the entirety of Infamous, whereas Uni on that CP Black Feather can just duel from the outskirts of battle, especially if Arden's Gauntlet is up. Then of course, you know, he can, or rather the side of Infamous as well, can just fight around the Gauntlet and just play around the Gauntlet instead of going in like that of E8 has to. Granted, Anime Save Me has got the Bright Bulwark that can stop Arden from using any of his skills, because all of Arden's skills requires a certain movement or a reach per se, and thus, you know, I guess Lyra is doing very well at this point in time, just trying to keep his entire team alive, and of course Official Hein as well, like as expected, going for the Broken Myth, going for the Eve of Harvest. Whether or not he will go down for that third damage item like that of Frostburn, if not there's Shatter Glass, it is still questionable. But at this point in time, just settling on these two items and building towards more defenses. So like I said, Official Hein has to be up and into the fight, and Uni's advantage is just being able to just stand at outside the gauntlet, or you know, being in the outskirts of fight and just being like a pseudo mage, putting out on points. And Spaghetti as well on that Idris can just put out chakrams after chakrams. And so I guess that is something that's going for the side of Infamous, whereas Elite 8, they have to really hard engage with that Afterburn, with that, you know, Rhyme, the fact that Rhyme has to go in, you know, and just phase up against Uni in a 1v1, if not then Spaghetti.
So, aside from that, I think I'm seeing SNK build up into an Echo. So we're going to be seeing the double gauntlets, double Colosseum from SNK. And here you go. Wow, nice connection from that Winter Spire. And the damage is real from Elite 8. They did not expect that, well, the Rhyme will just go aggressive. Defensive use of the ultimate from SNK. And that pickoff was definitely in the favor of Elite 8. They're looking to break down the second turret. And I feel like Infamous should back away. There's the Rose Offensive from Uni just for the safety. And I mean, Safety gotta go for the chase. One auto attack before going back out. And SNK is, well, he's in his jungle, but right now his jungle is no man's land, as E8 will be trying to go for the chase. He loses the battle with the exchange for the Trent. And wow, that was a good initiation from Ryan. They didn't even expect that he's just gonna go up into their face and start a clash or a duel.
Yep, I mean, Rhyme generally is tanky enough with the amount of fortify that he has, and does get with that, you know, with the Spires, and on top of that, his B ability as well. So I guess Official Hein can really afford to do that. And like said, Hanjaeger on that Glaive, not that shabby either. You know, he initiated a team fight, going in, flanking the side of Infamous, pushing a member of Infamous into Elite 8, and then Official Hein just went in with one Winter Spire, and then just started the team fight afterwards.
Oh no, this could be bad for Infamous. They have not a good position. The offensive bulwark, that's going to be the usage. And there you have it. You found yourself a Colosseum, and these are the gladiators of Elite 8. It is Rhyme going in for the front line, leading his opponents or his teammates to the charge, chasing down onto SNK, and that's going to be a double kill here for Elite 8. What an initiation coming in from E8.
What an initiation indeed. And although Infamous really trying hard to just pull back the gold difference by sneaking that gold mine in, but at the end of it all, we do see that Elite 8, they are still sitting very strong at a close to 3,000 gold lead for them. So Rhyme, it's really paying off at this point in time. And after, I'm just waiting. I'm really just waiting to see what Rhyme's last item would be, or this is end of it all, because he is now at this point in time just giving a lot of farm over to Hanjaeger just for him to complete his build. And as for Rhyme, he's not taking any of it, but the two smalls at the front of the jungle. Another fight might break out around Kraken as Kraken comes up onto the fold.
And here we go, SNK actually dipping back in. There's gonna be the usage of the passage, and they spot out Spaghetti! Spaghetti! Oh no, he actually got minced meat. Usage of a defensive gauntlet. Once again, Rose offensive, actually Rose defensive from Uni, but Hun Jaegers has been so good, like you said, with that afterburner, and the chase is on. Only SNK to actually survive this fight. And the late 8, are they gonna go for the push? Are they gonna go for the Kraken? Either or, they are just stomping this second game.
Definitely, they are looking very strong coming into the second game. And like I said, you know, in the first game itself, I personally think that they lost at draft. But in the second game, they are just looking so much stronger. They have got the early game, they have got the late game, and they are now pushing
SNK,
this game.
the Hail Mary last hit on the Kraken, but the Bulwark to deny him of his hard work. And SNK will escape with a little bit of a frown on his face.
A little bit of frown, you say, but I think it was a very big frown. A lot of weight was on his shoulders to try to grab that Kraken or steal that Kraken. But even then, we do see that Elite 8, they have got the power now, they have got, you know, the damage now, you know, to just bring this game, you know, to just bring this game into a game 3. And there is nothing that the side of Infamous can quite pull out to counter, you know, the draft coming out from the side of Elite 8, especially with that Prime being picked up so early.
Man, that passage has been used offensively all throughout this game, and they get another kill onto Spaghetti. He's not going to be happy about that one. SNK still to actually get back into his own base for the healing, but no, the Rhyme denies, the Afterburn to deny as well, and Uni, the man against the world. It's going to be the Kraken. It's going to be E8 as well. It's for him to go up against, but this Black Feather, can he rise above the challenge? The answer to that is going to be no. And Elite 8, this should be it. And they're going to be pushing this best of 3 into a game 3.
I'm not sure if that was meant as a pun, but he is using a Challenger Black Feather skin. If not, I'm not wrong, if I'm not wrong at least.
Oh.
And, yep. I think at least, I mean, looking at the artwork, looking at how he's dying, I personally think it is the Challenger Black Feather skin, if I'm not wrong. But, you know, I said earlier on that Rhyme was picked very early, but I'm sorry, I meant Rhyme was picked last as to counter the team comp coming out from the side of Infamous. And very, very good to see, you know, Elite 8 just stepping up to the plate, although they are sitting at, you know, the 5th, or I think it's the 5th, yeah, the 4th position within the roster of Vainglory 8. And it's very good to see and very refreshing to see that Elite 8 is stepping up to the plate. They know what they want. They know they have to win this, and thus they did. They went for that Rhyme to just counter that of Infamous. And although they looked really shaky at one point in time before Official Hind actually got that Eve of Harvest, but they pulled out the comb. You know, at the end of the day, they knew what they wanted to do. Official Hind just went in with this fire, root them, and of course, down with the Valkyrie, and then Han Jaeger can just pick it up. So before we enter this very short break, Azurai, what do you personally think that Infamous could have done to maybe change the tides around?
Honestly, I think, like you said on the start of that second game, it was down to execution. But the other thing was they really had no answer to the Rhyme's setup when he got that connection on the. I think yeah, the connection on the Chill Winds. It was just an easy follow up for his teammates to, you know, unload all of the damage, and then Infamous got, well, basically wrecked. So I think the reason the strat there for Infamous maybe was